Hi, this is Nat Moes. I'm here with Sam Krohlow. We're watching Round 1, Game 1 of the Tokyo MTG Vintage Open. Played a few weeks ago. We're looking, like I said, we're looking at Round 1 here. On the left we have a shop stack, and on the right we have a bug oath list. The shop's list looks pretty pretty standard. I think the one interesting thing is that he's playing Smokestack. And a Smokestack has sort of fallen out of favor here semi-recently in Vintage. Some people still play it, but
yeah, it's definitely less common now.
Yeah, he's got Smokestack in hand there, and the Oath player is going to counter with double Force opener. He's got Force and 4 total blue cards, so he can force twice, but he'll be sort of out of action there. Oath player won the roll and leads with Island, and his opponent is going to lead with Workshop and Soul Ring. Interestingly, the Oath player is going to pitch one of his blue cards. He's going to play Brainstorm rather than using it to counter, and maybe he's going to try and get the Metal Misstep there off the Brainstorm.
Yeah, he gets it.
Yeah, looks like he got it.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, it seems fortunate. I mean, Soul Ring is a critical mana producer in Workshops. I mean, it really puts you pretty far ahead. It's also a critical mana producer against Workshops if you have it.
Yeah, and it's basically the only card you see as a 1 mana cost. So if you can Mental Misstep it, good for you.
Yeah, so he managed to counter the Soul Ring, but he let Sphere of Resistance resolve, which is sort of a it's always a hard choice to make at this point in the game, because it's so early, you're so far behind. And his opponent plays Smokestack.
Now, will he force this one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a almost certain counter. That's way too early for Smokestack. And the Oath player lets it resolve, then draws and passes. So he's got 2 permanents in play to his opponent's 4.
Yeah.
Now 5. And Smokestack's really going to start eating him here. So we mentioned that Smokestack had sort of fallen out of favor, and I think that's largely because a lot of the decks right now are playing things like Young Pyromancer and Monastery Mentor that make creatures like you have theoretically infinite permanents to put out.
Yeah, so you can't really take advantage of that with Smokestack.
Right, and but in my testing recently, I found that Smokestack is actually pretty good, just because people are playing fewer lands. A lot of the decks still are very spell based. Like, you still need a lot of mana, a lot of lands to feed that. Or you need a lot of mana in play rather to get around the shop block pieces and still play through the Smokestack. So yeah, Smokestack already doing work here. It's already gotten rid of the Oath player's both lands. And the shop player still has 5 permanents in play.
It's kind of interesting that he just plays another land here now, since he's going to lose it next turn.
Yeah, I mean, typical thinking against Smokestack would be to hold back lands and let your opponent make the choice of either eating his own board by itself or to sack the Smokestack to itself.
Yeah.
And rather than just continuing to feed the Smokestack and give him a reason to keep it out.
Yep. It's always kind of risky, though, just letting your opponent eat their own permanents, because they're going to draw a permanent every turn, essentially, and keep being able to sacrifice them.
Yeah, and I guess we do have to remember that the Oath player should still have Force of Will backup, and I assume that's why he's going to want to keep playing lands. But it's already pretty late for Force of Will to be relevant. Obviously, at this point, I'm sure he's feeling pretty badly about not countering Smokestack.
Yeah, I would be as well.
So, yeah, I mean, the Workshop player here just keeps drawing permanents. This is getting ugly.
Yeah, this is a really tough situation to get out of, with a Sphere out and a Smokestack.
Right. Yeah, the Oath player is, fortunately or unfortunately, continuing to draw lands.
Yeah.
And I suppose he's still in the game, but I mean, he's getting chewed at by a Mishra's Factory. His board is getting eaten by Smokestack. He's really losing a battle of attrition here. And probably the only thing he could draw to get himself out of it would be Black Lotus. And
maybe not anymore.
Yeah, that might not be an option now because of the Phyrexian Revoker that just hit play, or could hit play. I suppose he does still have the counter available.
Yeah, and he can actually, and he doesn't counter the same there.
That's going to resolve. And so if his opponent names Black Lotus here, which I believe he did.
Yep.
I mean that pretty much puts the Oath player out of options. He's going to be scooping up cards pretty quickly here.
There we go.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to game 2.